Zanshin. The word alone carries a quiet weight. It's not loud, it's not boastful, but if you truly understand it, it changes everything. Zanshin, a Japanese term that roughly translates to remaining mind. But translation alone doesn't do it justice. Zanshin is the awareness that lingers after the strike, the calm that remains after the storm, the readiness that never fades, even when the battle seems over. In martial arts, you see it in the space after action. After the throw in Judo, after the cut in Kendo, after the punch lands in karate. Most people think that's the end, but the warrior knows that's the beginning of the next moment. The concept, Zanshin, is not about attacking harder or moving faster. It's about being present completely. It's a state of awareness so sharp, so controlled, that nothing escapes your mind. Not even silence, not even stillness. In Kendo, when a strike lands, the beginner celebrates. They drop their guard. They think they've won. But the master stays calm. Their posture still alive. Their eyes lock forward. Because they know the fight isn't finished until awareness says it is. In Judo, Zanshin is what keeps you balanced after a throw. It's the ability to read your opponent's next move before it happens. It's that invisible readiness that prevents you from being countered. The mental and physical composure that separates good judoka from great ones. But Zanshin doesn't belong only in the dojo. Zanshin belongs in your life. It belongs in how you approach your goals, how you handle your relationships, how you chase your dreams. The reality. Most people go through life half awake. They react instead of act. They drift, waiting for opportunity, waiting for motivation. And when the moment comes, they're asleep at the wheel. Zanshin is the antidote to that. It's what keeps you alive, fully conscious, always prepared, never satisfied. It's the discipline of never turning your back to life, never assuming the job is done just because the result looks good. Think about it. How many times have you finished a task, sent the message, done the work, and then mentally checked out? How many times have you relaxed just before the finish line? That's where mediocrity lives. That's where dreams die. Not in failure, but in the false comfort of "I've done enough." Zanshin says, you're not finished. You breathe, you hold, you observe, you remain aware until the very last moment. And then you remain aware still. The discipline. Zanshin isn't about being tense. It's not anxiety. It's clarity. It's control under pressure. It's the soldier standing guard long after the world sleeps. It's the craftsman who checks every detail even when no one's watching. It's the athlete who practices when the stadium is empty. It's the man who doesn't need to be told twice. The one whose awareness is his armor. You see, anyone can be good when it's easy. Anyone can focus when the spotlight is on. But true awareness, Zanshin, shows itself when things are quiet, when the noise fades, and it's just you, your breath, your purpose. That's when you find out who you really are. Not when you strike, but when you stay ready after. Not when you win, but when you're preparing for the next fight. In training and in life. In training, Zanshin means finishing every movement with purpose. You don't just throw, you complete the throw. You don't just cut, you follow through. Eyes forward, posture alive. You don't walk away. You remain present. And in life, it's the same. You don't just reach your goal, you stabilize it. You don't just succeed, you sustain. You don't just finish, you stay aware for what comes next. Because after every victory comes another test. After every calm, another storm. After every moment of peace, another challenge waiting to strike. And if you let your guard down, even for a second, that's when life hits hardest. Zanshin teaches you to remain unbroken through it all. To be calm without being lazy. To be ready without being paranoid. To move through the world like a quiet storm, collected, aware, alive. The mindset of Zanshin. Zanshin isn't just physical technique. It's mindset, it's spirit, it's lifestyle. It's what keeps a warrior humble after a win. What keeps a student hungry after a promotion. What keeps a leader sharp when others start to coast. It's what keeps you studying, keeps you practicing, keeps you questioning even when you think you've mastered the craft. Because mastery isn't a finish line, it's a loop, an eternal return to awareness. You don't graduate from Zanshin, you deepen it. Every time you fail, Zanshin brings you back. Every time you succeed, Zanshin keeps you grounded. It is the heartbeat behind every disciplined person who refuses to drift into comfort. The challenge. Ask yourself, where in your life have you dropped your guard? Where did you think that's good enough? Where have you let complacency sneak in? Because those are the openings that destroy potential. Those are the moments that separate those who live fully from those who only pretend to. When you walk out of the dojo, that's not the end of practice. When you clock out of work, that's not the end of focus. When you succeed once, that's not the end of effort. Zanshin tells you stay awake, stay sharp, stay ready. The strike might be over, but the battle continues, inside you. So carry yourself like a warrior, not just when people are watching, but when no one's watching. Because that's where discipline is forged. That's where Zanshin lives. The call. The world doesn't need more talent. It needs more awareness. It needs men and women who can stay composed when others panic, who can stay humble when others brag, who can stay ready when others quit. That's Zanshin. That's what it means to live as a martial artist, even outside the dojo. It's not about fighting. It's about living with your eyes open. So remember this. When you strike, remain aware. When you win, remain humble. When you lose, remain composed. When you rest, remain ready. Because Zanshin is not just something you practice. It's something you become. Carry it into every day. Carry it into every fight. Carry it until your presence alone demands respect. That is Zanshin. And that is how you rise beyond what you were yesterday. If you want more reflections on martial philosophy and mindset, subscribe. Stay aware. Stay ready. Zanshin.